Movies are all about storytelling, and the same can be said for movie posters. You know, there's a variety of posters out there, but they all want to do one thing: invoke a feeling or reaction within you. And if they did the trick, it makes you want to see the movie. Even long after films come and go from theaters, the impression a poster leaves can become the iconic representation of the film, forever associated in the mind of the audience as the definitive image of the feature, even if that exact scene or portrayal doesn't even occur on screen. So today, let's add to our series of mini movie posters with a slight focus on those that are more representational than literal. Join me, won't you?
I love the balance of complexity and simplicity of the Vertigo poster. It's just 3 colors, black, white, and orange, but it's almost hypnotic. This poster is all about conveying the feeling of dizziness, moving and spinning, so even viewers who had never experienced the actual symptom of vertigo would understand the disorientation. The original design was by artist Saul Bass, a cinema pioneer when it came to original posters and opening credit sequences. All of the text was hand-drawn, and I love that he decided to bill the film as Alfred Hitchcock's masterpiece. Yeah, that wasn't added years later or anything, that's on the original poster for the film's first release. Pretty gutsy move, but now many people agree. Although, I'll only be including the title in my design. This is one of those posters that doesn't even need to have a great movie behind it. The image alone is a fantastic work of art. The poster for Raiders of the Lost Ark just embodies excitement and adventure, by artist Richard Amsel. I like how it has a weathered look to it, like the kind of ancient artifacts Indiana Jones himself would be after. Unlike Vertigo, this doesn't focus on a single image, but contains several elements of the story, then combines them as if they were all carved into the background wall, mosaic style. For my version, the framing was a little too complex here with all the side character faces, so I chose to only focus on Indy and the Ark behind him, with the large circle representing the iconic giant boulder. I love the shading in the title too. Very cool. We can't talk about this movie poster art without bringing up Drew Struzan. I really should have mentioned him in the first mini movie posters video because he also painted Back to the Future. Along with Big Trouble in Little China, The Goonies, Blade Runner, Harry Potter, I could go on and on. But his story behind The Thing may be the most memorable. Get this, he had to do it in just one night without knowing anything about the film. The studio called him with the commission at 9 in the evening and needed the finished poster by morning. Supposedly, when the delivery guy picked it up, the paint was still wet. The only information he had was that it took place in an Arctic environment. So, we've got a guy in a snowsuit with lights shooting out of his face, something that never happens in the movie, and yet it's tantalizing to the imagination. Drew said he wanted the poster to be open-ended, for the audience to see what they wanted to see or not see. And if you know anything about The Thing, that's a pretty cool take on a monster that can change their appearance. It really lets the viewer's imagination run wild and what this thing could look like. Now that I think about it, it's almost like the opposite of the Jaws poster. The part with all the light shooting out could have gotten pretty messy, so I kept it simple, making sure to put some space so we can see each individual beam. And now that I look at it, I think I'll space out the title a little more and add some white beads to represent the. There we go. For many, the Terminator poster was their introduction to the Austrian powerhouse that is Arnold Schwarzenegger. The black background with red lasers definitely gives off a dark, futuristic vibe, the glowing text in his eye hinting that perhaps this guy isn't quite human. He just looks so menacing and no nonsense. Combined with the title, this poster instills the idea of an unstoppable threat. I could have just stuck to the earth tones for skin, sand, tan, light brown, which I did play around with, but I wanted to capture that intensity of the Terminator's presence, so I turned up the heat and went with orange, rust, and crane apple. Nice balance with all the cool blues of his leather jacket. Little Shop of Horrors is a dark comedy musical with a poster very reminiscent of classic B monster movies of the 1960s, which makes sense because it was based on a classic B monster movie from the 1960s. I had to get pretty minimal to get all the supporting characters around Audrey 2 on a scale this small, but I'm happy with how they turned out. It kind of reminded me of doing the cover of Fantastic Four #1. And it's always a fun challenge to create wavy lines, in this case the plant vines, in such a pixelated medium. Like Indiana Jones's whip, I tried to get them as smooth as possible. And going from midnight down to light blue in the background makes a cool gradient effect. This scene also doesn't happen in the movie, but definitely represents the trouble all the characters find themselves in revolving around this giant man-eating plant. Now we're back to a truly minimalist poster with 1989's Batman. The symbol does all the talking. And I like that it's raised up, like the actual chess piece from the movie, opposed to just a flat logo. Seeing the light and shadows play off of it demonstrates that Batman isn't just on a comic page anymore, he's been brought to real life. I remember the VHS tape I had as a kid didn't even have the word Batman on the cover. Not like you need it. The logo says it all. Just like how Batman the Animated Series never had its title come up, you know what you're seeing. And this would have been easy to just make a flat Batman insignia, but I really tried to recreate that glare of light and the texture of the logo. Okay, this one is just a personal favorite. I love the characters of Bill and Ted, and their upbeat energy on this poster just makes me smile. Interesting choice to have them shooting out into space. That doesn't happen in the movie. If you didn't know better, you'd think the phone booth was a spaceship instead of a time machine. Hey, fun fact. Did you know that Rufus never actually introduces himself to Bill and Ted by name? Future Bill and Ted tell them his name.
Rufus! Listen to this dude, Rufus. He knows what he's talking about. Right.
So if Bill and Ted only learned his name from their future selves, who also learned it from themselves in the past, how did they know it? It's a bootstrap paradox, baby! Anyway, this poster, like the movie, doesn't take itself too seriously, and definitely showcases what a good time is in store. I've always loved the bright yellow color scheme of Kill Bill. It's a bold, eye-catching choice. I didn't want my version to turn into a messy blob of yellow though, so I was pretty strict about keeping her left side the darkest with honey, so it provides a clear and distinct outline. Then Cheddar has a nice shading color. And the black bar on the right provides nice composition to frame her other side. Her hair is a mix of pastel yellow and cream. Again, I kept it light so as not to get lost in the background. This poster is the epitome of strength and confidence. I wish I could have gotten more of her facial features, but hey, what can you do? But hey, we can finally read a title again. And here we are, our second batch of mini movie posters. A sequel, if you will. And just like last time, it wouldn't be a bad idea to mount these on some 5x7-inch canvases, where you can probably get away with just making the foreground elements and have the backgrounds be the painted canvas. Well, if you do, here's something that should help you out. Click the link in the description for all the patterns I used today. Thank you so much for watching, and absolutely let me know what posters we should include next time. Take care, my friends. See you soon.